Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're building something absolutely crucial, a practical toolkit for everyday empowerment. We're going to focus entirely on you, your civic rights, your responsibilities, and the legal awareness you actually need to navigate society. Because, understanding the law isn't just for lawyers. It is literally the bedrock of a fair and equal society.
So let's just jump right in. Have you ever been overcharged at the local market, or perhaps kept completely in the dark by a government office, feeling totally vulnerable to exploitation and bureaucracy? It's a universal feeling, right? Ignorance of our constitutional rights often leaves us wide open to getting taken advantage of, but it really doesn't have to be that way.
Here is our roadmap to protecting yourself today. We'll start with an introduction to civic rights. Then we'll explore the right to information, look at buyer protection, balance that out with our fundamental duties, and finally uncover exactly how to access legal aid and justice.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Introduction to Civic Rights, the Foundation of Empowerment.
As you can see, true education goes way beyond just personal or financial growth. Knowing your rights and actually fulfilling your responsibilities is the foundation of a healthy society. When you know your rights, you become fearless. You become a citizen who simply cannot be bypassed or ignored.
Moving right along to Section 2, Right to Information. This is your tool for transparency.
Now, I want you to think of the RTI Act not as some dry, boring, bureaucratic law, but as a weapon, a really powerful one. It's designed to stop arbitrariness and drastically reduce corruption. In a democracy, you have the fundamental right to know exactly how government activities are being conducted, how your tax money is being spent, and how administrative decisions are actually made.
And here's the absolute best part. It is surprisingly simple. You don't need a law degree to demand answers. You just submit an application, either written or online, to a government department. You request specific work details, or maybe you want to know why a local road project has been stalled for 6 months. By law, the authority must provide that information within a strict, mandated time limit. It completely shifts the balance of power right back to you.
Okay, let's shift gears to Section 3, Buyer Protection and Rights, Guarding Against Market Exploitation. Adulterated goods, weight tampering, overpricing, defective services. We have all faced these daily frustrations in the marketplace. It's incredibly common to feel cheated at the store, but the law actually provides a really robust shield against this exact kind of exploitation.
Under the Consumer Protection Act, you possess 6 fundamental rights. You're guaranteed safety from hazardous goods, the right to accurate information, and the freedom to choose. Critically, when things go wrong, you have the right to be heard and the right to seek redressal, meaning compensation. You also have the right to consumer education, which, is exactly what we're exercising right now.
But actually, hold on, there is a catch. If you ever need to demand compensation through a consumer court or national helpline, there is one non-negotiable golden rule. You must always collect a valid cash memo or tax invoice. Without that little piece of paper, proving your case becomes incredibly difficult.
Which brings us to Section 4, our fundamental duties, the balance of power. So here's where we find that perfect balance. Think of rights and duties as two sides of the exact same coin. The Constitution guarantees rights to protect you as an individual, for sure, but it requires duties from you to protect and uplift society as a whole. Demanding your rights while totally ignoring your duties, that just makes the whole system fall apart.
In practice, this means respecting national symbols, protecting the environment, and maintaining communal harmony. But it's also about your everyday actions. Following road safety laws, paying your municipal and state taxes, or simply keeping public spaces clean. These aren't just annoying legal pressures, they are acts of civic discipline. A successful, prosperous nation is built by law-abiding citizens working together.
And finally, Section 5, Legal Aid and Justice, your constitutional safety net. Let's be real for a second and address the elephant in the room. Many people suffer injustice in total silence simply because they think, I can't afford a lawyer. But you never have to do that. The system actually has a built-in safety net called the Legal Services Authority. It is constitutionally mandated to ensure that financially disadvantaged citizens have access to free legal aid.
So practically speaking, where do you actually go? Well, you can approach the District Legal Services Authority, or DLSA, or local TLUC committees for free legal counsel if you are financially backward. And for minor disputes, there are alternative systems like the Lokadalat, basically people's courts. These allow for quick settlements without dragging you through years of expensive, stressful traditional court battles.
So it all comes full circle to this one very simple truth. Knowledge really is power. Understanding your rights, knowing how to demand transparency, and knowing exactly how to access free help gives you the moral courage to fight exploitation head-on. An informed citizen is the ultimate foundation of a just society.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought. Now that you have this toolkit, now that you understand the balance of your rights and your duties and the actual safety nets available to you, how will you step up? How are you going to use this newfound legal awareness to make a real difference in your own life and in your community today? Thanks so much for joining me, and stay curious.